News Extra. The jury process is something that many of us may not be too familiar with on a technical level. So here to help with that are Court Policy Planning and Community Relations Director, Mr. Josh Tenorio, and Jury Commissioner, Jenny Consecao. Hafa to both of you. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Hafa, Jason.
Okay, it's a pretty interesting time right now, and we'll talk exactly like why, and we're talking about the jury process. But Jenny, you're someone who knows the ins and outs of the mechanics of it. What is probably the #1 question you get about what it is to be a juror and how a juror is selected?
Well, first they asked me how was my name selected to begin with. And then, of course, I let them know that their name was selected through the voter's registration and driver's license. That's the two source listings that we use today.
Mm-hmm. And once summoned, where do people typically have to go? Or is it something mailed, or can it be emailed? Or
well, right now we are using a mailing process. And then if they fail to answer to that, then we send out the marshals to serve our documents.
Mm-hmm. And of course, we all learned this in social studies and civics class. Josh, you and I are the same age, but it might have been lost over the years, in the era of social media and, everybody knows everybody else's business. But this is actually a civic duty that as an American citizen and as a Guamanian, you are obligated to fulfill.
Well, I would say that you're obligated to pay your taxes. You have the privilege to vote, and you're obligated to serve on the jury. Mm-hmm. Those are the three basic things that a citizen should be doing to maintain our democracy.
And what are some maybe perceptions of, from the court's perspective and from the judiciary? Because some people equate, perhaps unfairly, they say jury duty is kind of like going to get a root canal, or it's something you have to go through. But it's actually an honor to be able to serve.
I think so. It's definitely a huge responsibility. For criminal cases, really the livelihoods of families are in your hands. Either it's through the defendant and their family, or through the victims and their families. And so the role of the juror is to hear the evidence and make a decision and ensure that justice is served. So it's a huge responsibility, and we're just hoping that people would do their part and accept jury service as part of their being a citizen, and not try and do things to run away from it.
And to be fair, a lot of people, they do see that as an honor, and a lot of people actually look forward to
Absolutely.
be able to.
And then, I was talking with Jenny on the way over here. A lot of people don't register to vote because they think that that's how they could get out of jury duty. But, we really use both the registration list and driver's license.
Right.
And so either way, if you need to learn if you need to drive on this island, you're definitely going to be part of the pool.
All right. Well, Jenny, so from the converse side, what if people don't respond, or, like a mass summons is sent out, and what if people don't?
Well, the first process that we have is the jury questionnaire process. And what I do is I send out about maybe 3,000 to 5,000 questionnaires every year. And those names are selected through our source listings, which is the Guam Election Commission listing and the Guam driver's license listing. And these listings are combined. And so out of that listing, a random selection will take place with 3,000 to 5,000 names a year, and then it's sent out. And if they fail to respond to that, I will send out a summons to have them come in at their own time to come in and fill out the questionnaire. Mm-hmm. Now, if they fail to do that, then other court, they will be sanctioned by the court, which offhand, we try our best to make sure that the community understands to come in and fill out these questionnaires. Mm-hmm. If they fail to do so, there is a fine and/or confinement that could take place if the court, if they need to be punished.
That's definitely what people have to remember.
But of course, we try to avoid that happening. So we try to reach out to the community to try to have them come in and fill it out and get it over with. And then it'll go through a screening process.
All right, so the next logical question is for employers, whether people begrudgingly accept the jury duty, or whether they're, like we said, very enthusiastic about it. Guam's community, we have way more, obviously, small businesses than really large corporations, so we don't normally have 3 or 4 backups. What is an employer's obligation should one of their staffers be selected?
Well, the employer's obligation is to make sure that the juror meets their civic duty. Mm-hmm. Okay, they're not in the position to fire or to even dismiss someone because of jury duty. There is a fine if that should ever happen. The juror should bring it up to my attention, and there is, I believe, a misdemeanor that will take place, or a petty misdemeanor. It just depends on the reasons that the juror was dismissed from their employer for jury duty.
All right.
But that rarely happens. A lot of times
Good.
our community, they're understanding about it.
Now, how about if I'm selected and I'm my own employer, like I'm an entrepreneur and I own my own company, or I just do my own thing at home. I've got obligations to my consumers and to maybe other people I employ, and like it's a real tight schedule.
Well, I think the scary thing, what scares people, or what people, I guess I should say what surprises them is that they're not, they think they're going to be in jury duty like they're serving a long period of time, but they're not going to be in there every single day. You know, what it is we can have jury selections like once or twice. After I orientate them, we may not even see them again until the following selection or next year, or, they're not in there every single day. So it doesn't really hamper with their duties. And I think the only way they would know that is if they come in and if they get summoned in and they're orientated.
And not everything is the O.J. Simpson trial where you're in court for years on end. And I think that's, again, probably public perception. They assume that that's going to be the case.
Right.
Well, remember that most criminal cases get pled out before it ever gets to a point where there would be a trial. And so that's one thing. But the other thing is there are two kinds of juries that you could be selected to. A petit jury, which is a criminal or civil case, or the grand jury, which is, I would say, a very serious appointment, and that group meets a bit more regularly than the normal jury. And I probably asked Jenny to tell you which, how often do they meet and what the two differences are.
Okay. Both petit jurors and grand jurors, they serve a term of 18 months. Mm-hmm. Petit jurors serve an active term of 3 months, and they serve on trials. They're the ones who come in and they go through a whole jury selection process. They get selected to sit on trials, kind of like the O.J. Simpson trial, where they sit and basically listen to everybody involved in the court.
All right. Well, unfortunately, we got to go to commercial break. I'm sorry, both of you.
Okay.
But where can people go for more information quickly? Is there a website, either locally or
yeah, right now they can just, if they want to know any information, they can just email my office or jury unit at juryunit@guamcourts.org.
And our website is guamcourts.org.
All right. Well, thanks so much, and we'll make sure to do that. Pass more information on to the community. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, and stay tuned. We're back after this.